only dead fish go with the flow. Friends and grasshoppers, this is episode 108 of the Formless podcast with me, Dustin. Tyler, the superhuman, he's out this week. He is still doing drill with the National Guard. He's in Georgia right now doing some leadership or, I guess it's officer candidate training school. He should be back in an episode or two, a couple of weeks. We'll give him some of that time. But, we wish him well, and he's aced. I think he told me he was the top of his class in the fitness category. So he's doing everyone back home proud and kicking butt. So you may hear a little extra noise in the background. I'm in my garage. Got kids outside playing and doing stuff there. So if you hear some, forgive me. Also, you're going to hear some papers wrestling around, something like that, because I have got a bunch of notes that I wrote. And I'm standing up today. I just felt like I needed to get up and do something a little bit different. So we're going to do that and take a couple of selfies here. And have a good time, try and have some fun, loosen up a little bit, that kind of thing. And see what happens here. We're going to talk a little bit about some concepts. And they're different than theories. Theories are an idea that haven't yet been put into practice. And the concepts, those are things that we've put into practice and tried out and tested them and I hesitate to do it a little bit because they're not secrets, but they're important, and they have a degree of sacredness. And without trying to sound like a cult leader or anything like that, they're important. We value them, and they're not given to everyone. And you kind of have to earn it, so to speak. And we have this one particular concept is multifaceted. There's multiple parts to it. And the one I want to talk about, we call it the zones of engagement. And the one that we're going to talk about today, or I'm going to talk about today, is the center one. And I think it's probably the most important one. We call it the zone of action. And the zone of action is where everything happens. That space is defined by if there are two people in that space and they can reach out and touch each other with their hand, their foot, their elbows or knees, or grab them, that is the space. That is the measurement of that zone of action. And I'm probably going to get some of this a little off kilter, but it's my podcast, so whatevs. The zone of... Hold on, let me adjust some of the sound here. There we go. Got some feedback in there. The zone of action, that's defined by if you can reach out and touch somebody and they can reach out and touch you, you are both in that zone of action. Now, when you are fighting or sparring or grappling, if you're in that space, you should be hitting. You should be doing something. That's it. That's the only option you have. You hit or you get out. That's not the only option. You hit or you get out. You got two. You shouldn't be there in the first place if you're not planning on doing something. Whether it's a grapple, whether it's punching or kicking or biting or whatever, you should be doing something. And if you're not, get the heck out. that's the whole idea in a nutshell. But it's easier said than done, and you see it time and time again. Every time you're training or sparring with somebody, people tend to creep in and get into that area, but they don't do something. It's like they're planning to get in there and do something. And so much like life, we all know people that sit on the couch and talk about how we're going to do something one day. We're going to make that movie, build that tree house, fix the car, all of those things. That's us creeping in there and not doing it. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have a plan. I'm not saying you shouldn't talk about it, write it out, think about those different things. But the time to do that is before you get to that zone, before you get to the action. Actions for action, moving, doing something. So in talking about this stuff, hopefully I don't ruffle too many feathers, and I'm talking to other practitioners of Wu Ying Tao, and some of the more important people that run schools, and that not that they're more important than others, but they have a say in things. And if I've offended any of those people by talking about some of these concepts, I hope I don't. But my thinking is that if we don't feed it with people and students and ideas, it will die. So the whole concept, or the whole idea of this podcast, was to give people an idea of what we do and nurture it, help it grow, because it's important. It's a big part of my life. It's a big part of my family's life. And I think Tyler would agree with me that if we don't talk about it and we don't do things with it and we don't share it, then it's going to wither away. And we don't want that to happen. A great deal of lessons have been learned in this place, and a great deal of awesome memories that I'm going to take with me until, the great beyond. So I want to share that, and this is a way of doing that. And I don't run a school. A good friend of mine does, and he allows me to use his space, and he's given me the opportunities to teach and grow and learn and get better. And so that's part of what I want to do. And sorry, I forgot to silence my phone. And that's kind of what I want to do. And this is the most cost-effective way that I've found to do that. So here we are. So the definition of concept is a broad mental framework or general notion or mental representation of something. It's how we organize and understand experience and experiences, objects or events in our minds before they become concrete realities. Whereas a theory is more of an idea, more of it's an idea. I think that this is how these things should be done. I think this house should be built this way. Before we even hammer a nail, we're going to talk about how it's done. Whereas the concept, we've put these things into practice and we've tried them. You can also think of action. Sorry, I'm a little bit scattered here. My notes are kind of scattered. You can also think of that zone of action as your personal space. And I tell people when we're talking about this concept that the personal space, you shouldn't allow just anyone in that personal space. I was at Costco today with Super Tom, and it was super crowded. And it was very difficult to manage that personal space just because there were so many bodies in there. At places like that, or a concert, or an event where there are lots of people in a confined space, that managing that personal space gets very difficult, and your bubble shrinks. But in general, everyday life, that personal space, that personal bubble should be guarded. You should keep people at distance. Not everyone. There are certain people, family, friends, people you know and trust. Welcome them in. But strangers, until they earn that space, shouldn't be given it freely. And that's that's kind of how I talk about that in class when we're teaching that. And how that, things are happening in that space. Things are moving. Things are changing. You may be on top 1 minute. You're on the bottom the next. 1 second later, these things happen in the blink of an eye. And when we're talking about that personal space or that zone of action, we have to be aware of what's going on around us and what's happening in that space as well. And life in that zone happens whether or not you are participating. Life is all around you. Life is happening all around you. Excuse me. You've got to do something. Don't let it pass you by. Experience something new. Just don't waste it. Life's happening whether you want it to or not. Some things are beyond our control. How we act, how we react to those things are the only things that we can control. What else do I have here? Oh, okay. So, here we go. Life is full of moments of doubt, fear, failure, triumph, victory, little wins, big wins, upsets, desperations, losses, and everything in between. All of us have felt these things at one time or another. All of those things are action. They're all happening. It's life. Sometimes it happens fast. Sometimes it's slow. Sometimes you have to bear down and go. Sometimes you have to take a breath, take a step back, breathe, put your hands up, chin down, and get ready for hell. And if that's you right now, there are a couple of people that I really hope listen to this. If that is you right now, and you're going through some hell, as someone way smarter than me once said, if you're going through hell, keep going. I got one last little note here to myself that I wanted to remind myself of, and I'm going to let you go with that. If you're going through hell, keep going. It does get better. If something you heard here struck a chord with you, drop us a DM on Instagram and let's chat. Friends, I appreciate you, and I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time. Oh, wait a minute. We have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter to talk about. All of those can be found on the respective pages, of course. But also, we have pages on all of those. They can all be found at the Formless Pod. We have a website called formlesspod.com. If you'd like to reach out and talk with us or show us some support, we'd appreciate it. Everything is everything's good. Life is good, my friends. Enjoy it. Get some action in. Take care.